Hi everyone, it's great to see you. Pickle and I are here to give you an update on how the planters are looking on the deck. And I have to say, they have come back beautifully, haven't they, Pickle? So I've been spraying these now regularly for BT. It's been about 2 weeks since I had to start that again. And really, look at this flush of flowers. It is gorgeous, and I really feel glad that I didn't cut them back. They are looking strong. Now in the center of my bag in the pots, you can tell that the hydrangea is done with its blooming, and the cascading flowers over the sides have just really filled in. In fact, somebody came to visit and said, oh yeah, things have really filled in. And you know, when you see it every day, you don't realize necessarily all the changes that take place. So I want to show you some of the before and afters here. So let's take a look at this planter. I love how these petunias have filled in. I think these might be my favorite petunias of all. I'm not sure. These are the Proven Winners something, and they are just gorgeous with that velvety center and the light pink around the edge. Now these are also the heuchera, the dressed up ball gown heuchera that I planted from small little starts, and boy, they're blooming. They have filled in fabulously. I am so happy with this arrangement. The purple, the pink, the white, the pink of the hydrangea back there peeking through is just fabulous. And I have a few little maple trees here that need to be planted, so those will come along. And if we swing around to the other side of the deck here, first off and closest to me, we have the purple bellevine flower here, and boy, it is still not flowering, but you know, that's okay. We have a pot of these beautiful zinnias that were from seed. I really only ended up with a couple pots full of the zinnias that I started from seed, but you know, they do add a little pop of color here and they look really good, so we'll keep at it with them. And then moving down further, we have some geraniums that I started from seed, still going strong. And I see that we have some salvia. This is the rockin' fuchsia salvia that the hummingbirds love. They keep coming to it, so that's a really good thing. Overall, this is just my favorite place probably to be in the garden. No, there's got to be at least 5 favorite places in the garden, but this is one of the top 5. To sit out here and to feel peaceful is just so nice. And Pickle enjoys this too. Pickle has been joining me on the deck to sit and look at the flowers. Pickle particularly likes the hummingbirds that come. And sometimes they come nice and close, and he's really interested in that, and all the pollinators that these attract. You know, we're seeing a ton of little bees, and not only are they great for the garden, great for the flowers, but they are fabulous cat entertainment for us. So you can never have too many planters up here. And now let's head on to the side yard. We're going to duck around the corner here to the side yard, and you've noticed that I still have a lot of my mop heads just drying. I like to cut mine off before winter comes, but I'm going to wait a while for those. But oh my goodness, this is the area I've really been working on here. And yeah, it's not looking its best, but that's because I'm doing some major reorganizing. I cut berry whiteback. I have our jasmine in. And I've been moving some more daylilies to this area because they got hidden behind the hydrangeas. The bunnies have managed to get some of the cone flowers. It happens. So we're sort of working on this area so that next year it's going to look great. Doesn't look great now, but next year it will. My phlox is in bloom. This is really pretty. Interesting how this one variety, this is the more pink one of Endless Illusion, has powdery mildew. That's really common for phlox. So you want to try to do one of your varieties that doesn't get that. And these are all three the same kind, and this one is a different kind. So you can tell that one kind is more prone to the powdery mildew than the other. So a good thing to learn as you go through. I also had a chance to reorganize the hydrangeas over here. On this side, we have a little lime punch. Yes, little lime punch. Oops, and I just fell into the hole. Okay, so this used to be closer to the walkway. I actually took out 2 macrophylla hydrangeas and moved this one back. So now it's going to have this whole area that it can fill in. And I put one of those macrophylla here and the other one's in a pot at the other side of the house. I think that was a good move. Does it look a little messy here now? Yeah, it does, but we're not going to worry because we're thinking long term that this is where those plants need to be. Let's walk to the back. The Lady Althea Rose of Sharon is looking good. You have to be careful with these. So some of these, you know, they have the blossoms sort of fade to die. Do not grab these and pick them off because a lot of times the bees crawl way up in there and that could be a very good way to getting stung. So I try to just let those fall off on their own, but oh, look at how pretty one of these is. That is just gorgeous. The double, the bright pink, I love it. Rose of Sharon is such a strong performer for late in the summer. I'm going to walk back to the new garden. The new garden is dying for some mulch, but it is not dying overall, which is good. So a lot of these hostas that I divided, I have the bunny-proof cages over them. I ran out of protection and you can tell which ones the bunnies ate because of that. But you know what? Hostas are really hardy. So even if that happened to you, they're probably going to come back just fine. Here is Jordan, our full moon maple. That is going to be the center star of this. Oh, and one of my favorites, we have kryptonite over here. Isn't that just an awesome name for this? So cute. So I have a lot of a good feeling about this garden. Now, very interesting here too. We have Eclipse and then we have Tuxedo here. Notice that Tuxedo has a powdery mildew on it, but Eclipse doesn't. So this is a great, you know, just a show of how different varieties tend to have certain things that others don't. They're getting watered the same way. They're right beside each other. Everything else is the same. But I'm going to have to remember to spray the Tuxedo hydrangea next year. It's a good thing I'm saying that on video because I might forget otherwise. And this is a great time to be taking stock of things that you might want to do differently. This little swath here at the back is looking so pretty. I have the astilbe blossoms. I never cut them back, but they're interesting. And this beautiful hosta, isn't that pretty? That's the variety that I split to go around the new garden. I love that. And way back in here, there are, oh, look at how big this hosta is, minus a few nibbles. This is Afterglow. Afterglow is one of my favorite hostas. So if you have a chance to get a hold of that, I ordered this online, and you might have to do a little searching for it, but totally worth it. Great to brighten up that dark corner. Oh, so pretty. Oh my goodness, talk about pretty. Look over here. These are gorgeous. Take a look at these roses. Oh, I love them. These sort of have a peachy yellow color as they bloom, and then they darken into more of a pink as they age. So pretty. We're getting that last flush of color. Oh, this is something to notice. Let's do a comparison. The double impatiens that are in the ground, and then the exact same double impatiens in the pot. So both of these are your proven winner Rockapulco rose. They were planted at the same time, looking identical, and what a difference. So here's the big trick. The ones in the planter here that are so tall and floriferous were in nice rich potting mix. The ones that are over here, I mean, they're really turning yellow. I have not fertilized either of these. This goes to show you that the soil is not as rich, not as nutrient, and not doing as well. So it makes me think over up on the rock wall here, maybe I'll need to put in something else or get really serious about fertilizing those guys, because it would be spectacular if they all looked like the Rockapulco that are in the planters. I mean, look at this. This is like, I don't know, it's almost 2 feet tall. That's pretty good. The daylilies that are around the deck here, these are the ones that I cut down so short. They're already sending up new growth. And I was looking through at all these different varieties that I have. This is really helping me as I plan for what needs to be moved both here and away from this area. Okay, this swath along here has become the watering area, the watering hole, nice and close to my hose link. And these are the things that we had some really hot days. I just pulled a whole bunch of pots over here, but you probably will see me planting up some of these heuchera. Some of the Japanese maples are gonna go into the ground. But for now, I kept them in a convenient spot. Oh, and here is my berry red, maybe? Look at this. Tons of berries for this holly. I am so happy. I remember that when Steph was here, we talked a little bit about how, you know, you need to have both a male and female of your holly in the yard. And this is the female, they get the berries. And I have some of a different variety in the yard, way over on the other side. But I know that that is good enough because we have berries. If you have berries, you're all set. If you put in a new holly and it doesn't get berries and you know it's a female holly, then you need to make sure you go and get it a partner so that it can have beautiful red berries. Loving all the planters, and then the center garden here is looking good. The New Guinea Impatiens have been fabulous. I am definitely going to do New Guinea Impatiens, and when you compare these New Guineas to last spring when I put them in, They really have come quite a long way. Obviously, we've had some wind. But overall, things are doing great. I love the sedum. I love the coleus that just give it that bright color. And probably most of all, Dan, thank you so much. I love our 2 big rocks that we added up here because they just, don't they look like they've been here forever? I'll secretly tell people, oh yeah, we just dug those up. They were in the yard. But what a great gift that was. Thanks so much, Dan. Let's take a look over at the front of the house where I have my begonias. Okay, up here under the window. So these are beautiful begonias. I want to say they're the rise up begonias, but I'll put what they are on the screen. And you can tell by comparing to how I put them in, yes, they have grown. I can't say they're as spectacular as I had hoped for, but they have given me this consistent color. I like the green color of the leaves. The flowers themselves are pretty small, but there's lots of them and they really do look nice and bright pink like I like them. I'm wondering what would have happened if I had fertilized. So this is sort of my experiment. How do they do when they're not fertilized? And then when you get that big group of them together, they're beautiful. You probably can tell that these 2 little Japanese hollies are different than the others. These are the 2 that had died and we've replaced them with these 2. But you know, they're blending in. I do believe they're pretty much the same variety. So sometimes you have to do that and things don't match up perfectly right away, but I think that's going to be okay in a year or 2. And they look really, really good. One other thing I want to show you is this chair. So I discovered that I had no place to sit in the front yard. And here I have a beautiful view of those New Guinea impatiens, not New Guineas, Sunpatiens, of the garden here. And I wanted to have a place to sit. So this chair was ordered on Amazon. I'll stand up so you can take a look at the chair a little bit more. And I just love it. It's a little wider than some of the metal chairs that you can get, and I love the rubbed bronze look. And now I can sit here and really appreciate the garden. I am back on the deck, and another thing I have to point out here, this licorice, isn't this beautiful? This is the lime colored licorice plant, and I think this just jumps out, and it actually is peeking out the top of the planter here too. And I love the contrast with the dark foliage and the rich purple petunias. What a great addition. I really feel like this lime licorice is one that I'm going to have to use even more next year. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.